Okay, we are back. Bit late, just a tiny bit late, but we're back for another pre-match preview. Um, we're gonna go through predicted lineups, thoughts about this game, that type of thing. Firstly, let's do my routine checks. Also, excuse me, I'm very green because the lighting, my key lights I usually use have decided to just stop working, so that's fun. Um, so I'm a bit green because of the pitch that I've got in front of me. Let me pop the chat out real quick. Um, Up the Chelsea. This is going to be a big game because of certain things that have happened. Every single team that is around us, pretty much, other than Forest, have dropped points. Liverpool dropped points, Arsenal dropped points, Brighton have dropped points, and it looks very likely that we can end today, if we play well, we can end today 2 points away from Liverpool on in first place, and we can finish above Arsenal, 4 points above them. So very important game. This is always a nervy game for me because Brentford are notoriously a bogey team against Chelsea. They always seem to show up against us. They always seem to cause us problems. We have not won a game against them in the last 5 outings, I believe. The last time we beat them was in 2021. So could not a very good omen. City are winning. Yeah, they're currently winning. I think it was Gvardiol who scored. I'm pretty sure. I haven't checked the score in a bit because I was setting up for stream, but yeah, so that's a very good opportunity for us to move up in terms of points. And the one thing that we do have going for us here is that Brentford are currently on an absolutely awful run of away games. They have got 1 point out of a possible 21 points, so they've got one draw in that's 7 games away from home. Right, so they're not very good away from home. This is at Stamford Bridge. At least it is to my knowledge. If that's randomly changed, then I'm surprised. Very weird kickoff time as well, 7 p.m. They pushed it back because obviously we had a very large travel to do from Astana back in Kazakhstan to this screen, and we'll kind of go through my predicted lineup. I think this is a pretty standard lineup that we're going to see. The only kind of concerns we've got in terms of team news is that Reece James is still injured. Fofana is still injured. Lavia has a hamstring problem, I believe, so maybe rested for this game. Pedro Neto is suspended, so he will not be playing on the right hand side. He's suspended for this game, and obviously he played in the Conference League game instead. And there's someone else. There's someone else that's it. Obviously Amari Kellerman, but he's been out for a while. There was another player that I was concerned about. Oh yeah, so apparently both Joao Felix and Nkunku might be ill, so we might see some interesting additions on the bench. But we'll get to that when we get to it. So in goal, very obviously going to be Robert Sanchez. There's less to be said about this, the better. I think Sanchez should be injured. I don't know if that's a hope or if that's an actual possibility. Sanchez will probably play. For the back four, this is going back to a more traditional kind of back four. In some senses, because we get Malo Gusto back in the lineup. He's going to be coming here in place of I would say in place of Moises Caicedo, but he's technically actually in place of Romeo Lavia, who's coming out of the team. So spoiler alert there. Colwill is going to be playing, and I would put him on this right-hand side. It looks a bit weird putting Colwill on the right-hand side, but because his centre-back partnership is with Benoit Badiashile, when this team kind of moves around, Colwill will be in the central position and Badiashile will be over on the left, so we can see that rather than Badiashile being in the middle, because that's not very good for him, or Badiashile being on the right, because again, that didn't really work out when we used that. And of course, over on the left-hand side will be Marc Cucurella, who, despite having a few slips in recent memories, he's been so phenomenal this season, so hopefully that will continue. Now, as I said, for the holding role, Lavia is going to be replaced by Caicedo. I think, again, this is going back to a pretty standard kind of midfield, so we're also going to see Enzo back in the left 10 or left 8, and then Palmer on the right side as well. I think that's pretty standard. Now, the front three, again, pretty comfortable for us, as Neto is suspended and he can't play. Madueke rotates in here really easily. I don't see that being a discussion. The only interesting thing here is that the left mid or the left wing spot could possibly change. I'm personally going to go with Jadon Sancho. I think he's been absolutely excellent since we signed him. He's an absolute steal considering we've got him on loan and his obligation is only 25 million considering how good he's been. Mudryk is apparently back from illness though, so maybe he plays. Is Sanchez actually on full yellows? we could see an interesting dynamic that we kind of saw last season, where Petrovic obviously eventually became our number one instead because of certain circumstances. And then finally, the striker spot is going to be Nicholas Jackson. Now, as I said, the bench might be more interesting than the actual team in this one, because again, I think we've got a few players absent that otherwise wouldn't be, like Nkunku, like Joao Felix. Maybe Felix could also go in this lineup. We never know if he wasn't injured. I don't think that they can recall Sancho because it's an obligation to buy. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't be able to, because it's basically just a pre-contract rather than an actual loan deal. I don't really know the ins and outs of that. I'm not too savvy into that kind of the workings of transfers, but I'm pretty sure because it's an obligation, they cannot recall him. They probably want to, considering how well their wingers have been playing this season. But this is the lineup that I would put out. As I said, I think what we'll kind of see here is we see pretty standard. I would hope that Enzo Maresca has learnt from the previous mistake that he did with putting Badiashile on the right side and Gusto inverting, or Caicedo inverting, and he'll kind of understand that this game what we kind of see is Caicedo moving over to the right, Cucurella coming into the midfield, and then we get this back three. And obviously we can have this with Cucurella going into the left sided kind of role and bombing up and down as he wants. But I think we'll kind of see more of the box than the diamond in this one. I think that suits this setup more. I think Enzo can be a little bit deeper than Cole at times, but for the most part, I think this works. Excuse me. Have the lineups actually come out yet? Because they do usually come out a bit early. If not, I have some other things I want to talk about. Let me quickly see, because they have been coming out early recently. So let's have a little gander. Have we got the who wants team news thing from Chelsea yet? They probably. It does not look like it. Great. We'll have to wait a little bit more. But yeah, so that's kind of the way that I would set things up. Let me get my notes back out. Now, the other thing that I would kind of say about Brentford, and one of the things which I'm a bit worried about, is that we have been in recent times, in terms of the last few seasons, we've been very, very slow starters. And in this team in particular, we've been a bit shaky at the back with Sanchez at times. Brentford are incredibly, incredibly fast starters, and they've scored I think they've scored like a third of their goals this season have been in like the first 5 or 10 minutes, which is kind of crazy. So we'll have to be switched on for that, because we do start slow at times. Hopefully we can settle off, and genuinely it might actually be a case of whoever gets kickoff, whoever wins the coin toss might actually be the first team to score, which is quite funny. Because yeah, obviously Brentford have been really, really good this season under Thomas Frank, and getting those early goals and then trying to sit on their leads and counter attack. And we do kind of expect, well, at least I kind of expect, I expect Brentford to play, because they can play in numerous different formations. They like playing that kind of 4-3-3 at times. They like playing the 3-4-3 at times. I think they might go a bit more pragmatic against us and play a bit more on the counter. I say pragmatic. I don't think they're going to sit back and play like Everton, for example, but I think they are going to be a bit more of a, we'll let you come onto us, we'll break on you, that type of thing, because we know how good Wissa and Burmo, those type of strikers, are on the counter, so we probably see that. But as I said, they can 100% just do whichever way they want to, because for the most part they have kind of got the better of us in the last few seasons. The only other, talking about their kind of team and their like team news, the only player that I think is unavailable for this one is Jensen. I think he's the only one that's injured. Maybe there's been some more since I saw that team news, if there's some absentees, but he seems to be the only one that's not actually available, so they'll have a very fit side, and obviously they haven't played since last week. Neither have we, because we rotate our team between Conference League games, but yeah. I guess that's kind of I guess that's kind of it really of what I gotta say about this game. It's a matter of I think that we'll win this game if we play the way we have been. I think we've got 6 on the trot right now, in terms of the form guide, and they're quite up and down. I think they've got like it's something very similar of like 2 wins, 2 losses, two draws or something like that. They're very patchy, but their away form, as I said earlier, is a bit thank you, Discord, for popping 10 minutes late. That reminds me, that leads me on actually. So I should be sometime between now and the Shamrock Rovers game. I'm going to be opening and I mentioned this in the past stream, but I'm going to be opening the members only Discord to the entirety of the community. As I said, I'm trying to brainstorm ideas for the members to give them something a little bit extra afterwards, but I kind of want to just make that Discord a bit more full and just kind of get people in there kind of talking about Chelsea, and it's a thing which I can kind of keep you guys updated a bit more easily than the community tab, because the community tab on YouTube is just utterly woeful. It doesn't really work. It's like, cool, I want all of my subscribers to see this post that is an update about, say, I'm going live or whatever, and it literally reaches about 50 people. It's just an awful system. I hope they fix it at some point. But yeah, hopefully now it's 1:45, we should get some lineups. They're being very late. Watch this be one of the times where they actually put it an hour before kickoff, like I've been saying that they've been doing. And I've got to sit here for another 15 minutes waiting for it. Oh. But yeah, also, I said this before. I don't know if you guys can see it, actually. Let me go to the... let's go back to this real quick. I mentioned that I've got the new poster in the background, if I can point to it properly. My camera's mirrored. A lot of people were guessing, and I said like I asked in my comments, I was like, hey, which goal do you think this is? Because you'd be surprised, because I thought it was because it's like such an iconic picture of Hazard, right? No, I'm not watching the derby at the moment, no. I don't really I'm a person that kind of, when it comes to rival teams, I really do not like watching them, because every single time I watch a rival team, the game is really boring. Or, as what usually happens is that they'll be like, it's a really weird thing. It's like they'll be like, say it was what was the game the other day? It was Arsenal versus someone, and they got like, there was like 6 goals in the first half, 4-2, and I literally tweeted this out. I was like, hey, I'm going to start watching this game because it looks like it's a good game. I guarantee no other goals are scored in this game. And I start watching the game from the second half. No other goals. I'm a jinx. I'll tell you, I say this all the time as a joke of me being a bit of a jinx, me being a bit of a mystic. But literally every single time I go and watch a rival team, no goals get scored. So I just refrain from doing it nowadays. I don't really hate watch as much as I probably should. I was gonna say it's a bit of a weird one, having a Manchester derby where both of the teams are actually kind of bad. Obviously, City are still a great team, but they're just really out of form, and the Guardiola style seems to be kind of getting found out. And obviously, United are United, so despite them having their new manager, they don't really look like they've changed. And maybe that's a kind of systematic thing that they all need to kind of work out. I'm not really sure what's going on with those guys. But yeah, anyway, as I was saying, the this one is this side, the poster, right? So I basically said this. I was like, hey, anyone in the comments can guess which game this is from. I got a lot of people being like, oh, is this the Europa League final against Arsenal? No. Someone suggested that it might have been the game we beat United 4-2, 4-0, something like that. I can't remember. No. And I bought this poster with the explicit kind of idea, thinking it was a different, thinking that it was a different game than it actually was, because I immediately saw this picture and I was like, oh, this is after he scored that absolute banger against Liverpool, like the one where he goes from the centre to the right side and then dribbles past 4 people and smashes it into the net. And I was like, I was so confident that that's what this was from. And after I bought this and I was waiting for it in the post, I went to go look at that game. Because I originally actually thought it was the Spurs game. I thought it was the Battle of the Bridge game where he equalised. but he doesn't. He does a knee slide for that one. And so I was trying to figure out what this celebration was from, because this is an iconic picture of Hazard. I keep my camera's mirrored. I keep doing it the wrong way. This is an iconic picture of him. We see this all the time, and I thought, oh, maybe it is like you suggest, that West Ham game, or as I said, the Liverpool goal where he weaves past people. And no, it actually turns out this is such a weird thing, because I found this out afterwards. This is against Liverpool, but it's not the great wonder goal that he scored against Liverpool. It's actually the equaliser in the 1-1 draw in the league. And I don't know why this picture has become so iconic and are so synonymous with him, because that's what that's from. It's an equaliser, like a 1-1 equaliser in the league. I was like, what? I found it out because because I could tell from when I was buying it, I could tell from the background that it was at the bridge. I knew it was a game at the bridge, but the goalkeeper was wearing pink, and not a lot of teams wear pink as their goalkeeper kit. But the one team from one of the one teams that actually did it in that season was Liverpool. So I was looking at all the Liverpool games, and I was like, this is a 1-1 equaliser that he's celebrating like this, and for some reason it's just become like a really big thing. Like, you type in Eden Hazard and this picture comes up immediately. It's so weird, and I was like, oh, cool. But it works anyway. There's my ramble, and the lineups, as you said, are now out. So let's take a gander at those. Let me switch it. Oh, I'm already actually on the good thing, so I can actually get the lineup out. Can you refresh? What have we got? I still haven't got. Oh, there they are. Okay. Boom. Gonna have to reset the. Gonna have to reset the thing, and there we go. There we go. So this is the lineup. Oh! Okay, so interesting. Already something very interesting is that we see that Tosin is playing. He's playing double duty, so we get a right footer in the team. That's interesting. Is there anything on the bench that's it? Wow. Okay, so very interesting thing on the bench. So Felix is ill, so he's not on the bench, nor is Mudryk. But we get Samuel Raksaki, who my stammer is stopping me from saying that word, an analysis on in my previous video. We get Joshua Chempong on the bench. Very, very cool. Kiernan's on the bench, and Mark Guiu is on the bench. So is George. What's happened to our squad? Half our team's just missing. That's really weird. Also, my chat has gone away again. Why has it done that? Where's the chat? There we go. So yeah, so we get Tosin in instead of Badiashile, which is a bit odd, which makes me think that maybe we're going back to and actually let me move this back. Let me move this out of the way so I can kind of talk about this. So that makes me think, if we're getting Tosin in instead of Badiashile, we'll move him out of the way. That instead of playing this way, that we kind of assumed that we would, with Badiashile on the left side, we're probably going to see Cucurella go back to his natural position. We're going to see Gusto inverting. We get Tosin on this side and Cole on this side. So this is probably what we're going to see. Which is, so I'm trying to think of why he would do this. I wonder if it's that's so weird with not playing Badiashile, considering he didn't play and Tosin did. I wonder if it's something to do with either him. Wait, he's not even in the lineup either. He's not even on the sub bench either. Something's probably happened to him. Obviously Lavia, we know, has got a hamstring problem from the last game, or some kind of concussion from the last game. He was taken off. But so one of the things I'm thinking here is maybe this is because Josh is on the bench. Maybe the idea of this is, hey, if worse comes to worse, we can put Josh in this right wings or this right centre back spot. This is a really interesting game, and obviously substitutes are going to play a big part against Brentford because they are a team that is very industrious and they have a lot of energy. So making those kind of substitutes are going to be important. We could actually just see us play a normal kind of 4-3-3, but I don't think that's going to happen. I kind of assume we'll play this way. We get unless this could okay. So there's two options. We see this with Colwill being the central centre back and him being able to be the one that plays the ball through the lines as he has been doing. But we've also seen Tosin play in the centre, so maybe we actually see something a bit weird, and we actually see Caicedo on the right hand side with Cucurella inverting, and then we see Colwill on the left side with Tosin in the middle, and then Gusto as this right centre back. Maybe that's what we see. And no, unfortunately, I'm not doing a watch along. The game is not actually available in the UK to watch, so I can't do a watch along, unfortunately. But so this is weird. So we've got two options: either Cucurella's inverting, which is what I would prefer, and if Cucurella's inverting, then we get Colwill out of position, which is a bit weird. Unless we play Adarabioyo in the kind of Disasi role. Obviously, Disasi was playing in this left side in the Conference League, so maybe we see these two switch around. Or we see the opposite and Gusto is inverting, which I don't really like, but then we get Colwill in the centre, which is a bit better. But yeah, very interesting. And we kind of hang on, let me make this a bit bigger again. So yeah, so obviously Enzo's captaining the side as well. We get Madueke, Palmer, Sancho, and Jackson. The bench is the most interesting thing for me here because we don't really have that much strength here, which makes me think that we probably won't make many substitutions. And if we do, they're probably going to be. I imagine Nkunku would come on. Everyone else here played like pretty much the full 90. So I'm not sure anyone else would get on the bench or get off the bench other than Nkunku. I think we're going to win this game. And I will quickly do my score prediction here before we kind of move on. I reckon we'll win this game. I think this will be a 3-1 victory is what I'm going to say. And I reckon Brentford will score first because that's probably what's going to happen here. They will score early and then we'll have to kind of battle back and get back into the game. But we've been so unbeatable in terms of getting back into games. That's the one thing which I really love about this Chelsea team now under Maresca in comparison to Pochettino's Chelsea is that it always felt against and even but going back as far as Graham Potter's Chelsea. It always felt like if we went behind in a game, we were never going to get back into it, or like if we went a few goals down, we didn't have the kind of the mentality to get back into games. Whereas this team seems like cool. We've gone one down. It doesn't matter. Yeah, we'll get the Bob Marley charts out. Before I do end this though, I do have I had something else to say. What was it? I've written down notes because I knew I had so many things to say. So yeah, we've got this game tonight. We have Shamrock Rovers on Thursday. And Everton on the Sunday after. Now, don't forget, I mentioned this in my last video. I'm going to be doing Feeling Blue after this game, by the way. So, like, it's going to be quite late after this because it's obviously a 7 p.m. kickoff, but I'll be doing Feeling Blue afterwards. A lot of people have been saying in the comments, oh, I miss Feeling Blue. It wasn't supposed to be going. Like, it wasn't a matter of me getting rid of Feeling Blue in any way. It was just a matter of I wasn't really feeling up to it for the last few weeks. So that is going to be returning, so we'll be doing that after this game, which is fun. So basically, we're going to kind of move into a schedule of 2 streams and one like post-match breakdown per game. So let me just I'll answer a few questions before I do go. First one I've just seen. Thoughts on Andre Santos? Do you think he will ever play for us, or is he going to get sold? No, he is 100% going into this team. There is no doubt in my mind that Andre Santos gets into this team when he comes back from loan. He has been superb this season. He was superb last season as well when he actually got to play, which the latter stages of the season. One full kind of good loan for him. I wonder if it depends on kind of the outgoings and ingoings in the midfield, because obviously we've had rumours of Carney possibly leaving, rumours of Kiernan probably leaving, rumours of Ugachukwu probably leaving. He scored again today. Superb player, man. Because I think he is genuinely, in terms of a player that kind of fits into our team, he is the perfect kind of substitute, or like not substitute, but like the rotational option for Caicedo, because they are so similar in the fact that they are really, really good box-to-box 8s. And obviously Caicedo plays a bit more reserved in this team, but I feel like those two can really like get a good partnership playing in that role. Do you think any of the 3 academy players on the bench will stay at the club for a bit? Achiampong, because he's basically having this contract issue, and I think he's going to sign soon. I think he'll stay. George, again, he's probably going to play in the youth level for a bit. I don't think he's really. I don't think he's considering we've got like so many good winger options. I don't think he's really got like a first team place. He will play the occasional game in the cup and like those kind of conference league games. But as we move into like a next if we as we move into like next season where we've got to play like Champions League football rather than Conference League football, I don't think he's gonna play in the first team. I think he'll go back down to the kind of youth group or maybe get a loan. So we'll see that. Giyu and Raksaki are also the other ones. I think Giyu probably can get off the bench. I don't think he will because Nkunku's there as well, so he'll probably come on. Raksaki, I probably would not put into the team just because he played 86 minutes in the midfield literally like a few days ago, so he'll be absolutely shattered, I would imagine. And you don't really want to be rushing, especially young players, into loads of minutes because that's kind of how you get like injury prone players as they're going to develop. So maybe not that. What was I going to say? Yeah, we got Esteval on our way as well. I think that like we're really starting to see the fruits of our labour in terms of Clear Lake and the Blueco and the kind of strategy that they've had for like scouting young talent for the future rather than buying established names now, because every single one of our players is going to get better. I think is a good thing to say. I don't know what's up with Cassidy. I've seen that as well. He didn't play in the Conference League game, and I feel like he would have done if he was fit. So I'm assuming he's got some kind of injury or illness. There's apparently been like a kind of illness going through the club recently. Not sure if it's the big C, which I'm not going to say because I'll get demonetized. So I don't know if it's that. Maybe that's something that's going through the club at the moment, and that's why we've been seeing so many players kind of go out ill. Obviously, Mudryk was one of them. Joao is now ill from this game. Cassidy's not here. Oh, was he suspended? Oh, that makes. Oh, yeah, of course. Someone mentioned that to me last stream. I'm stupid. But him not being in this lineup suggests otherwise. That kind of suggests that he might actually have a problem as well. Is kind of my point there, because he would be on the bench 100%. He didn't play, so he would be on the bench, and he's not, which is a bit weird. Let's see. Anselmino. I think Anselmino's. It's a bit of a weird one for him because I feel like he's a player that obviously he's a little bit injury prone, so you don't want to rush him into intense Premier League football immediately. I think that his position in the team kind of depends on whether we sell one of our centre backs. Obviously there's been rumours of Benoit Badiashile possibly leaving. I don't know if that's gonna actually happen. Obviously Disasi is a bit out of favour too, so maybe he goes out and we get Anselmino in. Obviously Joshua Chempong has recently been playing in the right centre-back spot and kind of playing well there, so he's an option too. I think what I would personally do for Anselmino is I would bring him back to Chelsea. Obviously his season under Boca is finished now, I believe, or is coming to the end. I know it ends like near our winter window, and I think he'll kind of go out on loan for. I would probably put him out on loan on the Championship club first, and then probably. If not a Championship side, I would say like a low Premier League side, and that's kind of what I think is going to happen with Santos too. I think Santos will come back from this loan against Strasbourg, and if he doesn't get straight into the team, which I think he's good enough to do, I think he'll probably go out on loan to a club like Aston Villa or not Forest, because we had issues with that before, but like someone, that type of like mid-table team, maybe like Crystal Palace, someone like that, where you can kind of. But yeah, and we got Gilchrist as well. Like Gilchrist played really, really well as well. This is the problem. We've got just the biggest selection headache because all of our players that are out on loan are doing really well. All of our players that are in the team at the moment are doing really well, and it's just like we're blessed. We are so blessed to have basically 3 or 4 good players in each position at the moment, which is really, really good. There was one more question that I wanted to see, and then I'm going to end this here. If you could sign one player in January, who would you sign? Now, there was one player that I wanted to sign, and he's now injured, so it's not going to happen. That was Mads Hermansen. I really wanted to get Mads Hermansen in as a goalkeeping option. Obviously, he understands how to play Maresca ball so well. As that's not an option, I would probably go for. I feel like if we're going to strengthen, because I feel like our team is so good from top to bottom, there's like no real issues there. The only issue we really have is goalkeeper. I feel like that is literally our one problem, but I don't think we would actually buy someone there. And if we're going to get a goalkeeper, the only one, I've always said this in the past, the only goalkeeper that makes sense to get is Mike Mangyang, and he's just not going to come here because he's going to be way too expensive. See, this is what I would do. I would say promote. I would personally promote Jurgensen to the first team spot and bring in Penders if he's coming next season. I'd put him into as like the reserve goalkeeper. Obviously we've got Slanino who's out on loan as well. So it's just like so many players. We got so many players. We have too many players. The only other one I could think of is probably Delap. I think Delap is like a really different profile of striker to Jackson. I think that he would kind of complement us well. But then again, Mark Gear has just come from the Conference League and scored 2 goals, so maybe he can play there too. Gregor Kerbal would be a good shout, yeah. It's weird because the problem we have with goalkeeper is that most goalkeepers nowadays are good at one thing and not good at the others. Like they're either really, really good shot stoppers, like someone like, for example, like Emi Martinez, is a good option. I would say like he's like a really good shot stopper, but I wouldn't say he's as good with his distribution. And then you have players like Edison, who's really, really good with his distribution, but not the greatest shot stopper. And we have the same we just always have that, right? Emi Martinez, yeah, would have been another good option, but he's just signed a new contract. I'm trying to think of any other. Is there any other goalkeepers in the league that are actually doing really well at the moment? Obviously, the you have the Allisons of the world, but he's never coming here. The only other one I would probably go for is actually already been signed by Liverpool, and that's Mamadashvili. He's decent. But yeah, so that's enough. Yeah, Diogo Costa again. That's another one which would it certainly fits the age profile. And it's like that's such an us signing. But again, he's going to be one of those ones that he's going to be like 100 million. Yeah, I'm a very big no to Osimhen bloke. I do not think he provides anything for this team that Jackson can't. I really don't think, and plus again, he's another player. He's going to cost like 120 million. I just don't see the point of spending that kind of money when we have Jackson, who's going to be our starting striker for years to come. And he's been. This is the thing with Jackson, right? Is that he's not been like superb for us yet. He hasn't really hit the ground running yet, and he's still providing so many numbers and so many goals. And it's just like the thing which is good about Jackson is that he always brings. Kind of the thing which this is right. So my favorite striker in recent memory of Chelsea will always be Diogo Costa. I absolutely love Diogo Costa, not just because obviously he was a great goal scorer, but the one thing that he always did was that he basically he always ran defenses like ragged, and he was always the kind of the disruptor and the player that would kind of, if he wasn't scoring, he was still making an impact on the game. And I feel like Jackson's got that same thing, where if he's not scoring goals, he's at least dropping deep and connecting the play or making runs into the channel and forcing players to move. He always does that type of thing, and like that's kind of my. You guys know how much I love Jackson. Like I've rated him since before we signed him, and he's always been like my guy. I've always been like, that's my striker. As soon as I saw him play for Villarreal, I was like, this is the guy I want on my team. And then we signed him, and I was like, yep, cool. He's going to be in our team for the next 5 years, please. But yeah, my voice is absolutely giving out, and I need to save it for the stream after the game. So I'll leave you guys to it. As I said, yeah. So feeling blue after the game. I'll probably be about half an hour after, maybe 20 minutes if I can rush the thumbnail out quickly. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out as ever. Enjoy 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 the game, really. Let's hope that we get here when I talk to you next in a couple of hours. We're talking about a Chelsea win, a Chelsea 3 points, and Chelsea being in second place and 2 points off of the top. So yeah.